Pompeii, buried alive. The sleeping giant. Once there was a town named Pompeii. Near the town there was a mountain named Vesuvius. Vesuvius. The people in Pompeii liked living by the mountain. It was a good place to grow grapes. It was a good place to raise sheep, and it looked so peaceful. But the mountain was really a dangerous volcano. 여기가 위험한 화산이래요. It was like a sleeping giant. If the giant woke up, it could destroy the town. Did the people know about the danger? No, they didn't. A volcano is a special kind of mountain. It has a hole at the top. One day, almost 2,000 years ago, something was happening under Vesuvius. Way down deep, it was very, very hot. It was so hot that rock was melting. As the rock melted, a gas was made. The gas was trying to escape. The gas and the melted rock were mixed together. The mixture was hot and bubbly. The gas was pushing the melted rock up through Vesuvius. The melted rock was about to blast right out the hole at the top. The day started out the way it always did. The sun rose. People began coming to Pompeii with things to sell. Fishermen were bringing fish. Peddlers were bringing melons and straw hats. peddlers들은 이렇게 돌아다니면서 물건을 파는 행상이에요. Farmers were bringing vegetables. Shepherds were bringing sheep. Carts rumbled through the narrow gates and into town. The noisy carts in the streets woke up the people in the houses. The family who lived in one of the biggest houses was soon busy. The mother went to pray in the courtyard. She put flowers by the statue of a god. The father began to dress. His slave helped him. 노예가 있었죠? 노예가 옷을 입는 걸 도와줘요. The children were playing. They were glad it was summer. The slaves in the kitchen were making breakfast. No one in the house knew that something terrible was going to happen. After breakfast, the children went outside. The streets were crowded. People were at work inside the shops. Bakers were busy baking flatbread. Weavers were busy weaving wool cloth. Potters were busy making clay pots. Slaves were getting water at the fountain. A musician was playing his flute. No one in the street knew that something terrible was going to happen. 아무도 뭔가 위험한 일이 벌어질 거라는 걸 몰랐어요. By late morning, many men were at the bathhouse. They were having a good time. Some men were playing ball. Some men were lifting weights. Some men were talking in the steam room, 사우나죠. Others were soaking in the hot pools. The father from the big house was there. His slave was rubbing oil on his back. No one at the bathhouse knew that something terrible was going to happen. By noon, the town meeting place was full of people. Some people were looking for things to buy. Some people were talking to their friends. Lawmakers were meeting to make new laws. Visitors were looking at the beautiful buildings. The mother from the big house was there. She was praying in the temple. No one in the town meeting place knew that something terrible was going to happen. Chapter 2. The Giant Wakes Up. Suddenly the ground began to tremble. All of the house in Pompeii began to shake. The giant was waking up. Then there was an enormous cracking sound. The top of Vesuvius blew off. A huge cloud of dust and ash came pouring out. Everyone began to scream. People came out of their houses to look at the huge cloud. Shopkeepers came out of their shops. Bakers forgot about their bread. Farmers forgot about their fruits and vegetables, and lawmakers forgot about the new laws. The cloud was getting bigger and bigger. The cloud hit the sun. It was dark. Tiny hot pebbles began to fall on the people in Pompeii. Some people found pillows to cover their heads. Others hid inside their houses. Everyone was running and pushing and shoving and shouting. Some people ran toward the town gates to get away. Others went home to protect their jewelry and gold coins. A few went to the temple to pray. Could the gods save them? 하느님이 과연 구해주실 수 있으실까요? The day became as dark as night. A horrible smell filled the air. It was like rotten eggs. 썩은 달걀 냄새가 났대요. People rushed toward the sea. A few held torches to light the way. The sea was wild. Huge waves kept crashing onto the beach. Fish were left flopping in the sand. The family from the big house was able to get into a boat. They were able to get away. 보트를 탔어요. When the pebbles fell on Pompeii, many people could not escape. They were trapped under the pebbles. Then hot ashes began pouring out of the volcano. The ashes fell on the people. The ashes were hot enough to make hair sizzle. 제가 완전 덮어버렸대요. The people in the street tried to protect themselves. They hid in corners and behind the walls. They covered their faces with their hands and clothes, but the ashes piled up higher and higher. The people could not move. The people could not breathe. They were trapped under the ashes. The ashes kept falling. Heaps of ashes filled the streets. The ashes spilled into the houses. They piled up to the first-story windows. They piled up to the second-story windows. The people inside the houses were trapped too. 1층 창문, 2층 창문 다 가둬버렸어요. But Vesuvius was not done. Now a great cloud of poisonous gas rushed out of the mountain. The cloud covered Pompeii. A great river of hot ashes and gases raced down the side of the mountain. The river flowed right over the walls of the town. No one in Pompeii was saved. 아무도 살아남지가 못했대요. Across the bay, a boy stood watching. His name was Pliny. Say Pliny. Pliny saw the strange cloud that came out of Vesuvius. He saw the darkness over Pompeii. Later, he heard about hot ashes and pebbles and the wild sea. Did Pliny ever forget the day? No, he did not.